With the influx of tourists, even the body art tradition itself has changed, or rather become impoverished. Nowadays, most of the young men only use 1 out of 5 of the traditional types of design. Nearly all their decorations are abstract ones, of a kind that can be expanded infinitely to absorb more time so that more money can be demanded from Europeans. Formerly, most designs represented animal species, such as this hyena design. But once done, these cannot be elaborated, an obvious disadvantage when posing by the hour. But Riefenstahl's visit has had one even more important long-term consequence for the people. The caricature of their lives, which she publicized, and the behavior of the tourists who followed her have both caused much embarrassment to the Sudanese government, as a provincial commissioner for the area explains. Syed Juma Muhammad Ali.
Well, in the beginning, the government accepts that tourists should come to such an area, because we do believe that tourism is sometimes useful. Sometimes it brings good things to the area. But now, and this is from my own point of view, I came to know that tourism, especially in the area of Kawa and Nyaro, is not useful at all. Because I discovered for myself that they are trying to make some sort of disintegration between the local Nuba and the Arab Muslims here, so that they want to keep the Nuba believe in some of what we think very ugly customs and unacceptable, and the Arabs are also standing against this. And I discovered that also tourists used to pay money for the people here to take photographs from them in whatever situation the tourists like.
However, rather than simply banning tourism, the government now shares Riefenstahl's portrayal of the Nuba as wild and childlike savages, and is determined to see them civilized.
انت جريت ليه؟ جبر بجروا معلومة الجماعة دي بجروا ليه؟
One condition of our filming was to present the government's development plans for the area. These plans include the distribution of clothing, but when the commissioner arrived, the villagers seemed afraid to come out and meet him.
يلا يا مريم تعالي انت اول ها انا بوري يلا تلبس حقك قدامنا هسي ده ها ايوه ها احنا بندي جزء منكم الباقيين بمشي تاني بنجيب لهم ها الهدوم دي لو ما تمت تاني فيه عشان نجيبه برضه يلا البسوا طوال عشان انا اخذ معاكم صورة.
The simultaneous arrival of a senior government official with his accompanying plainclothes police plus a European film crew at first seemed confusing to the villagers. The government always wants them dressed, while previously most Europeans had wanted them undressed.
Well, I think nudity, from the Islamic point of view, it's a very ugly custom and it's strictly prohibited by Islam. And the Sudan, of course, is an Islamic state, and such a situation is not acceptable in our thoughts and beliefs. We do all believe that the Islamic culture and Islamic traditions were the best to suit human lives all over the world. And here in the area of Kaunyaru, we find that there were some very ugly traditions which were anti-Islam. And part of them, for example, we find people here uncircumcised, and even the their traditions concerning marriage were also to the Islamic traditions. And you can add to that there were the customs of stealing married women. Also, this is anti to Islam. And we do believe that whenever Islam is spread here, all those customs will be abolished.
Conversion and accompanying circumcision have been very slow to catch on among Nuba elders. Only a few have become Muslims. But the celebration of one such conversion was held while we were there. Present also were the non-Muslim Nuba, drinking beer in a very non-Islamic fashion, sullen and uncelebrating witnesses to the event. But very conspicuous at the occasion were local Arabs, both men and women. The commissioner and his plainclothes police were clearly delighted.
توبا لدي كلام كتير نجلا كل واحد طلع برا جبر لابو مرلا وحاجات هذا نوي توبا لابو كلابو مرلا نوي توبا ينقو هذا يديروا الطرقة بس.
Uruguay?
ها؟
Uruguay.
نوبا؟
ايه.
توبا Uruguay. خلاص لابو مرلا لابو لاتشو تنقو تاني. جيب كورجا.
كانوا لابو لرا نعم.
ini baba la pulara lakin ane kalam nuba la pomora la ma tacho ko shidi no kalam la yo angorn la pomora la tacho itu berjawatan ni yang terubas tunggu dia kal reca tunggu dia kal keding rutu dan
معك لوح من القرآن
جدا جدا.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قاف والقرآن المجيد بل عجبوا أن جاءهم منذر منهم فقال الكافرون هذا شيء عجيب قد علمنا ما تنقص الأرض منهم وعندنا كتاب حفيظ بل كذبوا بالحق لما جاءهم فهم في أمر مريج فلم ينظروا.
The government is more determined to convert the young. They've started an Islamic school in one of the villages, where only the Quran is taught. But despite government pressure, only a few Nuba attend the school along with many Arabs. At the circumcision ceremony, it was a young Nuba boy who recited from the Quran for the commissioner.
We are trying to spread Islam and its traditions, and this will help definitely in executing the development schemes, to include some sort of an agricultural scheme that will be given aid by the government in the form of tractors, discs, and agricultural advice, so that we try our best to make the people learn how to work in bigger agricultural fields.
The introduction of government farming schemes will have an even more profound effect on the lives of the Southeast Nuba than conversion to Islam, for such schemes will reduce them from tillers of their own land to wage labourers, just as surely as European photographers reduce the young men to little more than exotic male models. But in the short term, the government's main concern is their lack of control over the Southeast Nuba, their inability to effect the fundamental changes they want. As a result, the provincial government wants added powers to be given to the local Omda, or chief. The Southeast Nuba didn't even have a chief until the British colonial authorities imposed one on them.
As a very primitive area, we have to get a strong man so that he should keep law and order, and he will guarantee the real enforcement of government orders and policy. And I think in southern Kordofan province, this area of Kau Nyaro in particular, we have to bring some sort of a judicial power to the Umda here, so that we make it quite possible for him to administer the area, to make sure that the government laws and orders were to be accepted by the people. And he is the true representative of the government here.
What kind of penalties should he be able to impose?
Well, small penalties, yeah, like lashing people, like ordering them to pay some fines, like putting them in jail for 2 to 3 days or a month. And this will definitely help in keeping everything right here. Because you see, people still believe in the Umda, and they believe that he is their leader. But they began to discover that his powers were withdrawn from him.
So people should be lashed and fined and put in prison for what kind of offences?
Well, for offences of stealing married women, for destroying, for example, agricultural products, for moving about stark naked. Yeah. In such small cases, which were not of serious criminal nature, he can fine them, he can lash them, he can put them into jail for 2 or 3 days or a month. This will help a lot in making people respect the government.